When a pick me doesn't get picked, they become angry and a little bit mental.
This is your reminder to stay difficult. It may seem as if these girls that are easy, that have no standards, the pick-meshas that are letting the guys lie and cheat and taking them back, that they're the ones that are getting men that are running off into the sunset. You probably are on the brink of folding on your standards. Let me tell you why you shouldn't. Pick-meshas never work out. Pick-meshas never work out because when you let a man do anything to you, you're so emotionally invested on that situation working out. So you want to know what starts happening to the guy? He starts losing his freedom. He starts being smothered by pick-mesha, and he starts feeling like he's in prison. You want to know what he works his way over to? The girl that was difficult. Men love difficult women. Don't ever forget it. They love a challenge. The girl that had standards, that loved herself, that put herself first, that was selfish in a relationship, that was having a good time, that wanted, that didn't need him, okay? Never forget, women cry first, men cry longer. He's going to regret it. Pick-mesha was fun, but that's not where he's going to stay.
Pick me women never get picked. I'm not a huge fan of reality TV, but I had to dive into this one because it kept popping up on my For You page. A lot of people were talking about Huda in Love Island season 7, and I had to watch the show to actually understand why she was getting so much hate. I came to the conclusion that the situation between Jeremiah and Huda is what happens when a pick-me gets love bombed by a manipulator. Right down to the last episode, I'm going to use the situation between Jeremiah and Huda to explain to you guys why pick-me women never get picked. But before we get into it, I want to roll the clip and watch what a lot of people had to say concerning this situation, and I'll be sharing my thoughts at the end of the video. Get a pen, get a paper, and jot things down. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and I'll see you guys at the end.
Okay, I'm not a Love Island girly, and I'm not someone who really watches like reality TV, but I saw this season all over my For You page, and I saw everyone hating on Huda, so I deadass locked in for the past 24 hours and finished all 13 episodes just so I could see whether or not the hate was valid, because people tend to kind of like dogpile on women. So here are my thoughts. Before I get into like Huda and Jeremiah and that train wreck, I want to say a couple things. First of all, Bella is bad. Nick couldn't handle all that. He didn't deserve her. I'm glad they got broken up with. Second of all, Taylor should have been kicked, not Charlie. Charlie was my favorite. I just really liked his character, the way that he carried himself. And it's very clear that Taylor has no actual connection, so I'm not sure why they're not just kicking him. He's not actually interested in Alondria. And I feel like the guys just didn't like Huda, and then on top of that, they liked Taylor because that's their boy, so they didn't kick him. But he needs to go. They should have kept Charlie, and they should have kept Huda. As for Hannah, she's messy, and what she was doing was filthy. I'm glad her and Charlie got cut off. I just feel bad for Charlie because it seems like he really liked her. But anyways, now let's talk about Huda and Jeremiah. Up until episode 12 and 13, my thoughts on Huda were that the hate is so forced. It's not justified, it's not warranted. She does 100% do things that are kind of annoying, but it truly just does feel like people are picking on her and dogpiling on her, and I don't like it because it's not justified. Throughout the season, before this whole train wreck, she never really did anything that was like morally objectionable. She seems like she's someone with a lot of big emotions, and I feel like Jeremiah was taking advantage of that. I really like what Ace said about how Jeremiah set a bar for her, and now that he can't maintain that bar, he's hurt Huda. And Ace was talking about how he wanted to avoid that from the beginning. I'm not the kind to throw out these kinds of terms, but I really feel like Jeremiah has narcissistic tendencies. He's not a narcissist, but he has those tendencies because, like I said, Huda has very big emotions. She clearly has a lot of wounds that she needs to heal, and she has an anxious attachment style. So what we notice is the more that he starts to pull away, the more clingy she gets. And because he realizes that he has that power and there's that power dynamic, he doesn't feel attracted to her. So the more affectionate, the more clingy she gets, the more he pulls away. And I don't like that. Like, it's just really giving me like narcissistic tendencies, someone who's not empathetic, someone who's not emotionally mature. I'm genuinely just starting to think he's playing the game for the money. And I really didn't like his excuse that, oh, I was just overwhelmed, I shut down. What are you shutting down from? Like, Charlie and Huda got the worst ends of the stick that night. Charlie got kicked off the show, and Huda got her partner taken away from her and given to another woman. Jeremiah didn't get anything. It's not like Huda was taken away from him. He wasn't the one being kicked off. I don't know why you're emotionally shutting down. He should have been there for Huda 100%. However, her crash out, that was classist. I'm sorry. That was really bad. Like, yelling across the villa, cussing at people to the point that you can't even sit with Iris alone without the boys being concerned that there's gonna be like a fight or something's gonna happen. No. That was so classist. Oh, I get secondhand embarrassment. Anyways, this video is getting way too long. Just to wrap up my thought, Jeremiah sucks. Huda needs to heal. She doesn't deserve the hate that she gets. I really think she needs to leave because this is going to take a toll on her mental health, especially when she gets out and sees what people have been saying about her.
Unfortunately, Huda is insecure and afraid of rejection because the fact that she waited until he was a little bit more invested in her to confess that she has a child, and then now she's suddenly surprised that his reaction is a little bit negative, a little bit confusing to her. That, to me, just shows that she is a little bit manipulative in that way. Like, she would think, if he falls in love with me, then it'll be harder for him, or he'll accept more my child more because he's seeing how amazing I am, so how can he reject my child, right? So she definitely has this rejection wound, and she thought to herself that if she were to bring this up later when he has already like confessed his feelings for her, he will more than likely want to be a stepdad. Like, that's not how it works. I feel like most women are so afraid to confess about who they are because it's going to drive that person away. They need to understand they can't be having the scarcity mindset. Like, if a guy does not accept things about you, then he's not the one, right? I feel like she's so desperate to be in a relationship or to be picked, and I feel like she does have this pick me mentality. If you really were so proud to be a mom, you would not care if this man rejects you. You'd think to yourself, my kid is way more important than his acceptance of me. And it's sad to see that. She's going to start to villainize him because of the fact that he's suddenly going to be pulling away, or his energy is going to be different, and she's going to be insecure. You literally need to tell people things about yourself that you think are deal breakers in the very beginning, so that way your feelings are not invested. Because once feelings are invested, it's way harder to let go of that person, and you get your heart broken a lot more. I'm a little bit not loving the way Huda is handling the situation, so we're only going to see how this goes later on, but I really don't think it's going to go well.
Huda is like a really good example of just because you are a mom does not mean that all of your issues go away. Okay? Huda is emotionally immature. She doesn't know how to regulate her emotions. She has an anxious attachment style. And those things don't magically go away or disappear just because you have a kid or just because you are a mom. And she's a very good example of that. She actually weaponizes being a mother. Like, you guys realize that it's way better to invest into therapy before having a whole baby. Like, genuinely, I promise you that none of your issues will disappear when you have a child. None of them. Okay? You are still gonna be the same shit person, except with more responsibility and less money. Okay? Go to therapy, buy a journal, do something else. Like, seriously.
Men have never liked the pick-me's. They use the pick-me's as stepping stools in society. Being a pick-me is literally begging for your oppressor to oppress you. Literally, okay? I know that society has conditioned us to be pick-me's in one way or another, but in actual reality, the men don't even like pick-me's, right? So it makes you wonder, what was the purpose of being a pick-me? Pick-me's are to help the population. To put it lightly. 2025, I know that all women don't know who men are. This is very clear to me that this is a very small majority that understand who men are. So we are just barely starting to wake women up. But we're gonna get to a point where being a pick-me is a choice. And I kind of just want to paint a picture here. If there was some sort of catastrophic event, right, and the men and the women, maybe separated, right, and then there was a handful of women who were pick-me's, like, I'm gonna stand beside them, right, and let's imagine that's like, 500 men, right, in one little commune of sorts, right, and then there was, let's say 5, 6, 7, even 10 pick-me's, right, or, ride or dies, if you will. What do we think would happen to all those women around 500 men? It wouldn't end well. It wouldn't end well, okay? We don't need to try this out as some sort of trial and error thing. This has happened with every single war, because the men are the soldiers. And The men literally go out and hunt for women and children, okay? I forget what it was called, but in India, there was also women who were self-unaliving, I believe, during some war when I was doing some research. I can't remember exactly, but you guys might know what I'm talking about. In order to not be captured. Yeah, so let's listen to women. You know, they would rather unalive themselves instead of be captured with a group of men. We have way too many historical facts telling us that being a pick-me will literally kill you. So, there was a hummingbird by my window. We don't need to test out these theories, okay? But the pick-me's, they get to pick, you know, with 500 men, they get to pick. So we'll let them pick.
So Pickmisha never gets picked. Okay? I was a Pickmisha. I was the good girl, the nice girl. Textbook definition of what a guy would traditionally want. Okay? Pickmisha does not get picked. Okay? Pickmisha becomes the live-in maid. Pickmisha becomes the help. Pickmisha becomes the friend zone girl. Pickmisha becomes the girl that gets invited over at 2 a.m. Pickmisha is the girl that does everything without a title. Pickmisha doesn't get the ring. Pickmisha doesn't even get the flowers. They say all the time they want good women. That is a lie! They love crazy, they love bitch, they love toxic. Even the most well-behaved men. I started to play nice. I said, you know, maybe I'm being too much, you know. Then they said I was boring! What do they want? Who gives a shit? That's when you find your answer.
I'm going to tell you why in the end men don't pick girls who do everything for them. The pick-me girls, as we call them, online. The reason is not because they get annoyed by them. It's not anything like that. They will often pick the girl who's hard to get, and those girls they call gold diggers or whatever it is, who are only about themselves, who are all selfish. The reason is because once they get into a relationship with a pick-me girl, they realize how much she takes away from his freedom and how much energy she requires. Because when a woman is all about herself and doing what she wants to do, she also gives that man freedom, and she gives him a status boost as well, and she makes him achieve more. Whilst if you're a pick-me type of woman, you are a pick-me type of woman because you require that same energy back. So when a pick-me doesn't get that type of energy back in a year or in a few months when she's dating him, guess what? She is blowing up your phone. She's asking why you're not consistent. She's asking you where you're going. She's asking you all these questions all the time because she expects her investments returned. So in the end, men don't like that. No matter how much they say they like that, they don't like that. Because the biggest value for men is remaining themselves, having freedom. That is what they want.
Huda is not crazy. She's not crazy. She literally got love bombed by Jeremiah, which I don't blame her. He's kind of cute. She got manipulated from day one. Literally felt safe in this little bubble. She was giving more than what she was receiving. She was putting him here and her down here. To me, she's just scared of being alone, being left out, because she's already a mom. She's a mommy. She doesn't want to get hurt. I mean, we've all been Huda, or we've known of a Huda. So if you're in that situation, don't get attached to people that play with your feelings, because the right person won't make you doubt. If she's doubting, that's clearly not her man. It's that simple. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, a great afternoon, a great night whenever you're watching this, and just know that I love you. Know your worth, know your value.
Pick-me women never get picked, and men want a challenge. From the beginning of the show, Huda gave up the energy of a girl who is hard to get, a girl who is a challenge, and she was quite intimidating to a lot of guys. Some of them even told her they found her intimidating. Coming down to the coupling up with Jeremiah, this is where the whole drama starts. The difference between Huda and Jeremiah is after the money and Huda is after love. She was coupled up to this guy and she thought they were going to make a great couple. They had a great connection. She thought they were going to be together. She was basically bragging about her connection with this guy to every other couple in the house. Everything switched. Jeremiah is the absolute villain, and the Huda hate needs to stop. Let's not pretend like we didn't watch this guy love bomb her for the first 2 episodes of the show. And with the way he love bombed her, she had every right to believe so much in their connection. She believed they were building something. It is the man who sets the pace of the relationship. This guy was future faking from the onset, and she believed so much in their connection because of how he love bombed her. When you see a woman going crazy, there is a man behind it. This girl didn't wake up one day and decided to be crazy in the island. She is going crazy because he sold her a dream, she fell for it, and now he wants to back out. I'm not trying to justify Huda. She's not an angel either. She too is manipulative. She too can be a bully. She too doesn't know how to control her emotions. She's emotionally immature. She reacts fast without thinking. She gives off pick-me vibes. He love bombed her way too early, showed her so much affection, and made her feel as if they didn't need to explore other connections. That is why Huda didn't give any other guy a chance to get to know her. That is why Huda was clingy to Jeremiah. That is why she didn't need to do anything to get to know the other guys, because he made her feel as though he wasn't planning on exploring other connections with any other woman in the house. Selling her a dream of commitment, selling her a dream of interest, making her feel as though he's all about her, only for her to get attached to him, and all of a sudden he starts to pull back, because guess what? She's extremely clingy. She has anxious attachment style, and when you look at her, she has the fear of rejection. This is a woman who may have gone through past traumas and she hasn't really healed from it. That's why she comes off as desperate, controlling, clingy, needy, and so many other things. That's classic manipulation, and he hides his toxicity behind calm words and calculated moves. So you cannot see through him because he's calm, because he's quiet. He acts like he has his emotions in check. But Huda, on the other hand, who is crashing out, playing the victim, basically calling him out, insulting him, doing the most, is basically seen as a villain. Is basically seen as a crazy one. When you see a woman who is going crazy, there is a man behind it. She is crashing out because she was manipulated, she was love bombed, and she even said it. He's not able to maintain the same energy because guess what? He's lost feelings. He's gotten what he wanted from her. And let me be honest with you guys, these two people have had sex. They have slept together. That is why you see Huda behaving the way she's behaving. Because if you have not had sex with a guy and he decides to lose interest, or he decides to pull his energy back, you're not going to be overly reactive, overly emotional, crying your eyeballs out, doing the most, calling out any other girl who is recoupled with him. She called Iris a bitch because she kissed Jeremiah during a challenge. This is what happens when people have sex. When you guys like each other, when you guys are still attracted to each other, that's a whole different thing. But when sex gets into it, the whole thing becomes chaotic. Now these two people have slept together, and that is why Huda is crashing out, because she feels like this guy has gotten in between my legs, and now he's looking for another hot bombshell to replace me with. Even if Jeremiah initially didn't want to replace Huda, even if Jeremiah didn't want to let go of their connection, Huda's behavior, her attitude, the fact that she's acting desperate, clingy, it's basically scaring him off. Any guy is going to withdraw his energy when he can sense that you're being too desperate and you're being too controlling, and when he feels like you want to cage him. Now he's feeling caged, and because he felt that way, he started to withdraw. He started to give a shot to Iris, even though we know America voted them to be together. But at the same time, he was open to having a connection with Iris because of Huda's behavior. Because Jeremiah hides his toxicity behind calm words and calculated moves, Huda is being looked at as crazy, and that's what makes him even more dangerous. And remember, when he asked Huda, has any of the guys fooled you for a chat? That wasn't casual. That was a tactic to make her feel locked in. Then when Huda almost got dumped from the island, the switch up from Jeremiah is crazy. This guy who was all over her, crying even on the day where they voted him and Iris to be a couple, he automatically switched up on her. He never checked up on her. He never checked up on her for 1 minute. Any guy who really wants to be with you, any guy who has a genuine connection with you, seeing you in that depressed state will want to check up on you first. And Nick called him out on it. These are the type of men who are going to be with you because they think being with you is going to be a stepping stone to get them where they want to be. Jeremiah thought him and Huda were going to be this power couple, get into the island, look for a girl who compliments me, who I'm attracted to. We play the game together, we win the money, and we bounce. That was the initial plan, but unfortunately, fate had different roles to play. America voted him with Iris, and now he's beginning to see that maybe America doesn't like his coupling up with Huda. And now he wants to pull back. Now he doesn't want to show her interest anymore because being with Huda means he will not win the game. Being with Huda means he's not going to have the money. And now, even though he doesn't like Iris, even though he's not attracted to her, and he even said it to Huda, he is willing to be with Iris because he can sense that that was the choice America wanted for him. And if America wants this choice for him, definitely it is a choice that will help him win the money and win the game. This guy is calculated. This guy is not a fool. This guy is very smart. If Jeremiah wasn't playing a game on Huda, why would he automatically switch up the very same night when she almost got dumped from the island? Why would he automatically start looking for a connection with Iris, even though he claims not to be interested or attracted to her? Why would he automatically choose Iris after 2 days of Iris being in the island? If you say you really are interested in this girl and you had a real genuine connection with her, you wouldn't switch up so easily on her like that. The switch up is crazy. Jeremiah knows America does not like his coupling up with Huda. America does not like Huda. He knows. That is why he would rather be with a woman he doesn't like, he doesn't find attractive, just because being with her will help him win the game, will help him win the money. To a certain extent, I cannot blame Jeremiah for choosing Iris at the end of this last episode, because the truth is, the way Huda was crashing out became toxic. Any guy will want to run away from that toxicity. Men don't want women who are desperate, who are clingy. Men don't want a woman who doesn't know her worth, who doesn't know her value. That is why he picked Iris, because look at Iris on the other hand. She carries herself with so much respect. She's emotionally mature. She doesn't involve herself in their drama, even though she was fit into it. She is level-headed. She checks up on him. She checks up on even on Huda. Even after Huda called her a bitch, she was still a girl's girl. Even after Huda did the most, she was still out to support her and make sure she keeps her safe in the house. Even though Huda has been doing way too much at this point, Iris, on the other hand, has been carrying herself with so much grace and so much respect, and she's becoming a fan favorite. Iris didn't ask to be picked by America to be with Jeremiah, but at the end of the day, America did that, and she understands why Huda has to get upset. But at the same time, even though Huda went about calling her a bitch, doing the most, name calling, all of that, cursing, she didn't offer a word. She didn't disrespect Huda for 1 second. Shows that she's a girl who is secure in herself. She knows her worth. She's not going to fight for a connection if it's not reciprocated. Whatever is happening between her and Jeremiah, she's letting him lead the relationship. She is letting him lead the connection. She's not doing too much. She's not forcing herself on him. She's not caging him. Unlike Huda, who was clingy, caging him, restricting him from interacting even with the other women, Iris, on the other hand, she sits on her throne like a queen, let everything play out the way it wants to play out. She doesn't do too much. That is why Jeremiah had to pick her, because he knows with Iris, it is a more secure connection, and the connection between them is healthy. Rather than being with Huda, she is controlling. Jeremiah was feeling like he is in a cage with Huda, but on the other hand, he feels free. And let me tell you something, men do not pick the girl who wants to be picked, because pick-me women always behave like Huda. They are clingy, emotionally immature. They want to control the guy. They want to cage him. They are doing the most to make him happy. This guy got you without basically fighting for you. You made it too easy for him. She didn't make him chase her enough. She didn't make him work hard for her enough. She gave him everything easily, including sleeping with him, even though you guys are not going to admit it, but these two people have had sex. And now he doesn't see the need to fight for you anymore. The excitement is gone. This guy has a lot of power and control over you within 1 week of knowing you, and that is what is going to make men lose interest. No matter how beautiful you are, no matter how much of a great body you have, if you don't have boundaries, if you don't carry yourself well, if you don't know your worth, men are going to sense through it, and they are going to use you and manipulate you and leave you for a girl who knows her worth and who carries herself well. This guy lost interest because he saw that he had gotten everything he wanted out of Huda. He saw that she doesn't know her worth, she doesn't know her value. She has made it so easy for him, and now she is desperate, she's clingy, she's controlling. He has her wrapped around his finger. She's basically crying because of a guy she's known just for a week. He feels like he has so much control and power over you. Men don't want to feel that way, because when a guy feels that way, he loses interest. He wants a challenge. He doesn't want a girl who is easy and desperate. Because she gave him everything in the beginning easily and for free, now when she sees the other guys doing the most for their own couples, she gets upset, because she's like, I want you to do nice things for me. You don't do this for me. You don't do that for me. It's now like she's doing too much because you gave it to him easily seized. He didn't put enough effort to win you over. All he had to do was love bomb you, to get in between your drawers, to get you in your feelings, to get you to crash out within 1 week of knowing him. At this point, he's seeing you as this crazy girl who is obsessed over me and wants to cage me in this house and not make me play this game. This is how he sees her. Being a pick-me has a lot to do with the way you carry yourself. Huda is being a pygmy because she cannot stand Jeremiah showing another girl attention, showing another girl love, showing another girl basically playing the very same game he was playing with her, because she feels like, I was the one who was supposed to be picked. I was the one who was supposed to be on that beach date with you. I am the one who is supposed to be coupled up with you. That's the mindset of a pygmy. But a girl who knows her worth and a girl who knows what she brings to the table, she would let the relationship and the connection flow naturally. She wouldn't force things. She wouldn't fight for it. Because at the end of the day, she knows her worth. And if this guy isn't willing to see it, she's going to bounce. She bullies any other girl who is willing to get close to Jeremiah. From the beginning, all the other girls were scared of getting close to him or even interacting with him because they were scared of Huda. And no man wants to feel like he's a bird in a cage. Every guy wants to feel free. The pygmy woman will never get picked because you don't allow this guy to be his real self. You are doing too much to get picked, to the point where when you don't get picked, you start crashing out, you start doing the most. When you're a pygmy, you are going to get left. You're not going to get picked, regardless of how much you do. She was doing too much, but at the end of the day, he didn't pick her. At the end of the day, he picked a girl who didn't even have to do much. And he picked her just because she was being herself. She didn't do too much. She allowed him come to her. Iris carries herself so well. Oh my god, I love this girl. She is unbothered. She doesn't give a fuck. She knows her worth. She stands on business. She doesn't do too much. She's not out there forcing for a connection with any of the guys. She lets everything flow naturally. Iris did just that, and Huda, on the other hand, was doing the opposite. She was showing this guy she wanted him so badly, and it's because of what reason? Minus the love bombing, Jeremiah, on the other hand, is manipulative, and also because they've had sex, she cannot move on easily. She cannot get past it. That's why everything gets her upset. And she had even told the other girls in the house that they kind of had sex. And this is why she's crashing out.
I'm just gonna say it because I'm so surprised no one said this yet, but Jeremiah and Huda have definitely had sex. That type of love bombing coming from both ends comes from two people who are extremely physically attracted to each other, who had sex way too soon, and the sex was good. Trust me, I know. So the fact that they hardly know each other, but they're acting so attached and clingy to one another is because they've been... And what gave it away is them taking a shower together. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not taking a shower with anyone you haven't had sex with already. The thing is about those passionate, lust-filled connections, though, is that they burn bright and burn out even faster. I do think Huda got problems. She has an anxious attachment style, and she's one of those girls until a man is involved. But Jeremiah isn't innocent either, and honestly... But yeah, she's stigmatized and he's pussy whipped. But that shit is starting to slowly fade out because it happened too soon.
No girl will crash out for a guy she hasn't slept with. When a girl is crashing out for a guy, they have definitely had sex. And the reason why Huda is behaving the way she is behaving is because she feels used. She feels like she hasn't even known this guy for long, and he has used her and gotten with this new bombshell, and he doesn't give a fuck about her. Now he's lost interest. She knows that he's lost interest. She knows she has no power over him. She knows she has no control over him. That's why she's angry. That's why she's upset. And she's angry because she had bragged about this connection. She had told the other girls how they have the greatest connection. Even when Iris got into the house, she was telling Iris, oh, we have the greatest connection in the house right now, and we basically locked in. She was basically telling everyone how her and Jeremiah are like this power couple. But guess what? Everything switched within 24 hours. Now the Iris who you were basically telling her how much of a great connection you have with Jeremiah, Iris is now coupled up with Jeremiah, and Jeremiah ends up picking Iris over you. Her crashing out is valid. What Huda needs to do right now is to leave Jeremiah and gain some respect. Huda needs to keep her emotions in check and gain some respect, not only for herself, but she needs to gain respect from the other girls, from the other men in the house, because at the end of the day, they are looking at her like this desperate, immature, crazy person. Because Jeremiah, on the other hand, is very calm. He's not going out of his way to misbehave. Jeremiah seems happy in his new connection with Iris, and Huda, on the other hand, who is crashing out, looks like she's the crazy one. She needs to gain respect by putting her emotions in check, staying calm, acting unbothered, even if this thing is eating her up. When a guy knows that he's got you wrapped around his finger, he loses interest. When a guy knows he has power and control over you to the point of getting you get out of character on national TV, to the point where you're crashing out, crying, and doing the most because he broke up with you, because he left you, or you guys are not together, this guy is going to lose interest towards you. What Huda needs to do is to be mysterious. She needs to not show her feelings. She needs to not wear her emotions on her sleeves. When the guy leaves you and you go about your activities and act like he doesn't exist, and act like he means nothing, and act like and move on quickly, this guy is going to get scared and he's going to come running and chasing after you. Jeremiah would have done the most to get them back together. He would have been fighting to be with her. He would have done so much, because at the end of the day he sees he's losing his girl. But the way Huda behaves, it just makes his reaction even more valid, because he feels like this girl is crazy, I need to get the hell away from her, and that's why he's acting that way. And Ace can see through his game. Another person who knows Jeremiah's game now is Huda. Huda can see now that this guy really didn't care about me. This guy just wanted to win the game, and he's after any girl who's going to help him win the game. He doesn't really give a shit about me. She now understands his game. That's why she's crashing out, because she believes so much in their connection. So guys, I'm going to end this video by saying this: the pick me never gets picked. When you know your word, even when a guy love bombs you and manipulates you, you wouldn't crash out because you know it's his loss. If a guy doesn't see the value having you by his side, it is not your place to force him. Know your word. Don't be desperate. Don't be a pick me. Even if this guy plays you, stay in your lane. Go no contact. Act like he doesn't exist. Don't crash out. When he sees that you're unbothered by the breakup, you're unbothered by the split up, he is going to respect you even more. It will be a bruise to his ego, because you'll be acting like, oh, she's not crying over me, then maybe she was not, maybe she didn't like me like that, maybe she was not into me like that. And that will trigger him to start chasing you, because he sees that you're unbothered. He sees that you don't care. But when you're desperate, clingy, emotionally immature, doing the most and crashing out, he's going to see you as easy, desperate, and he's going to see you as this crazy girl who's obsessed over him, and he will lose interest. When you show a man that you like him so much early on, he is going to lose interest, and that's what has happened between them. So besties, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Drop your experiences if you have any. If you have experiences which are similar to Jeremiah and Huda, I'm dying to see them in the comment section. And I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye. Love you.